Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. It is the 16th day of August 2024. Yet another beautiful Friday. TGIF. Yes, I can hear somebody saying TGIF wherever they are now. Yes, thank God it is Friday. I hope it's a beautiful one you're having so far this morning. Yes, it has been a very cool morning so far, at least from my end. And I'm hoping it's a cool one for you so far. In case it has not been, cheer up. The day is still young. I am so sure that you will have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead. Only if you believe and work towards achieving a beautiful one. It is another edition of the newspaper review right here on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM, where we get to talk about all of the major stories that made front page on some of the major dailies we have in the country. On the newspaper review, we get to analyze stories. We get to, talk about some of these things that are bedeviling our nation. Good, bad, in between. We are here to get to discuss all of this. And the beauty about this show is the fact that you get the opportunity to also be part of the program. You get the opportunity to share your insight, for you to tell us how you feel about the present situation happening in the country. And the only way for you to do that is when you follow us up on all our social media handles, and when you get to call us up or send regular text messages or WhatsApp messages. And how do you do that? You can follow us up on X, on TikTok, and of course on Instagram at impact 1021 FM. That is HI Impact 1021 FM. That is where you can see us on X, on Instagram, and of course on TikTok. We are also streaming live on Facebook at iImpact Radio 102.1 FM. We are streaming live on YouTube at iImpact 102.1 FM. But if you want to call us up in the studio so you can get to talk to us, share your insights and all of that, call us up on 0700 1021 1021. Our WhatsApp portal or our regular text message portal is 0907 224 5018. Reach out to us, then we can get to read out your messages so that your voice can be heard. My name is Uche Okorie. Welcome to the show, and I won't be doing it alone.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Uche.
How are you doing to you? I'm fine, thank you. It's a beautiful Friday morning for me. I hope it's a beautiful one for you too.
It is.
When you say it is, it gets to feel like there's some undertone to it.
Not really, but okay. Yeah, I look forward to the Friday because it just started. So yeah, I look forward to it a lot. So I wanted to ask you, how was your journey down to the office this morning?
Smooth. Aside the usual not few stations this morning. I suspect there's something around few, but aside the usual, due to the ongoing road project through the axis which I'm coming from.
Okay.
Aside that usual impediment, it was a free flow traffic.
It was.
Yes, it
great.
was.
Yeah, it was kind of free, as like you said, aside the few stations and all, because it was difficult to get buses at some point, vehicle at some point, and it was expensive at the other round. But yeah, we I don't know why the fuel is just going up and down. This week you see few stations, you see queues, lot of queues. Like it is so, the crowd you're seeing is not. It's not the usual. It's not the usual. It's a lot. And the next time you see that it's empty. What is happening? Are we not selling fuel? I don't understand what's happening to this country. I don't understand what's happening in this country. I don't know. And seeing on the front pages of the newspaper, one of the newspaper this morning says that in the Federal Capital Territory, that's Abuja, they are selling it for 1,000 naira per liter.
Yes.
If the Federal Capital Territory, where the president is at the moment, and they're selling it for 1,000 naira, how will other parts, because I know the north will definitely suffer more for it. and Abuja is close to the north.
Yeah,
So how-
is at the north central,
Right. So what exactly is happening in the country? Because we are an oil producing country, and we are the ones suffering from these products that was given to us freely by God. It's very bewildering. It's very alarming. It stems for concerns because sometimes you go to the market to get something and they say that. And things are supposed to be affordable. They'll tell you that when they were bringing it, the truck they used to bring it, they didn't buy fuel in the truck. The fuel is expensive, so definitely my products. Are you serious? Are you? And I understand. Sometimes I understand the applies, and sometimes you get like, I don't have the money. Do you get?
True.
So hopefully things are sorted out. But we are still in August, right? Yes.
Yeah, true.
Waiting for the August. Hey, there's a refinery that promised us now.
Yeah, true.
So
true,
we're waiting.
true.
We're waiting for them. So hopefully it comes up this month.
Well, hopefully things pan out as we hope they pan out. Usually, there's nothing interesting about the fact that there's fuel scarcity or there's scare that fuel will go high. These are situations that I feel, or most Nigerians think, probably if we have a working refinery, it will, come to an end.
Yeah.
And we're hopeful that someday the promises made to the country will be fulfilled. But before then, the Dangote refinery also, which is functioning, but says fuel will roll into the markets before the end of August. Our fingers are crossed. August is still just right at the middle, and hopefully before the end of August, something comes out of it. They were in the news the other day talking about not being in business with IPMAN, which is the Independent Petroleum Management Association of Nigeria, in regards with speculations which they made that the Dangote refinery will be selling as low as 600 naira per liter. So they said, okay, we have already, made a plan of what we will be selling. Whatever report is coming out is just speculative reports. So we're looking forward to hopefully someday these issues will be resolved. And when it comes to 1,000 naira in the north, I think that has to do with maybe shipping, because it's moving from the Lagos ports before it gets from southwest before it gets to the north. It also affects the east too. They pay as much as that for fuel. All this I feel and most Nigerians think will come to an end once our refineries are up and running. And I am certain that someday, so soon, those refineries will be up and running, and these things will be a story of the past. So 13 minutes past 7 right here on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Let's go on a real short break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at the papers which we have with us in full. Don't go nowhere. It is the newspaper review on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
It's been raining mediocre. Repetition. Boring. But this frequency modulation, 102.1 FM, has opened multiple umbrellas to shield you from it all. Step under the umbrella of the Morning Impact Show and explore a world of morning information, metro stories, newspaper review, sports in a jiffy, conversations of the day, and games. Move over to the umbrella of the Hey Midday Show and get familiar with the FFO Canteen, the Game Room, social media trends, movie box, and volumes up.
Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way
under my umbrella. Or you can slide under the umbrella of Just Before Dark and the Drop Down and acquaint yourself with new music on Ville, Sports Hub, Techville, Auto Hub, Airplay 10, and so much more. On weekends, we've still got you covered. Under my umbrella. The Wavy Weekends, Saturday OK Show, The Rave, The Weekend Wind Down, The Gospel Effect Show, and Sunday Underway. High Impact 102.1 FM will take you to the highest heights with the hottest hits, the juiciest information, and accurate news. With this frequency modulation, it's a whole new vibe. Your ears are perfectly safe on our airwaves.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call
0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM, 16 minutes past 7. In case you are just joining us, you are right on time for the newspaper review, where we get to talk about most of the stories that made front page on most of the dailies this morning. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation as simple as ABC. Call us up on 0700 1021 1021. I take that one more time, 0700 1021 1021. That's the number you can use in calling us for you to make your input into the show this morning. In case you want to send a regular text message or WhatsApp message, it's also possible, and the number for you to do that at is 0907 224 5018, 0907 224 5018. Remember, we are live on YouTube at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. So hey, go stream us live right now so you can get into the conversation. Moving into the papers fully this morning, and we are starting with the Daily Trust newspaper. And what does the Daily Trust lead with? Well, the big story: petrol pump price nears 1,000 naira per litre in FCT and states. Petrol pump price nears 1,000 naira per litre in the FCT and states. That's in page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. That's three riders to that story. It says supply on off nationwide. CSO knocks NNPCL. National Oil Company silent. So in case you want to find out more about that story, go look at page 4 of the paper. We have pictures on the Daily Trust this morning, pictures of queues in the filling stations and also of people who are, practicing black market. So in case you want to find out about this story, the Daily Trust is where you are going to see more of it. Beside the pictures on the front page this morning, NJC OK's Kekereekun as CJN, 28 others as judges. You want to find out about that one, page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper is where you are going to see that story. The current CGN Ariwola is going to retire because he's 70 years old, and there's a need. The NJC have come to a conclusion that Kekereekun should be the next CGN, looking to next for the president to see if he's going to approve or not. So go read the Daily Trust for you to find out about that story. Why EFCC is holding Nakon chairman? You want to know why? Well, page 6 of the Daily Trust is where you are going to find out why the EFCC is holding Nakon chairman. Underneath that story, APC dismisses claims of Ganduje's replacement, fixes September 12th for NEC meeting. APC dismisses claims of Ganduje's replacement, fixes September 12th for NEC meeting. Page 11 of the Daily Trust is where that story is. Underneath that front page is, underneath the big image on the front page is flawed 3.7 million Kano residents, 362 communities at risk. That's according to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA. Flawed 3.7 Kano residents, 362 communities at risk. Two writers to that particular story says 2,207, 449 persons affected in 27 states. Jigawa death toll hits 22. That is really, really sad. In case you want to find out about that story, page 7 of the Daily Trust is where that story is. Presidential jet FG Ogun rebuff Chinese firm's claim. Presidential jets FG Ogun rebuff Chinese firm's claims. Page 6, page 4 of the Daily Trust is where that story is. Underneath the nameplate of the Daily Trust, mixed feelings as inflation drops in July. Mixed feelings as inflation drops in July. Finally, on the Daily Trust this morning, Mpox FG puts Abuja, Kano, Lagos, 6 others on high alert. Mpox FG puts Abuja, Kano, Lagos, 6 others on high alert. That's the much we can take on the Daily Trust this morning.
0700-1021-1021 is the number to call, or you can send us a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0907-224-5018 to actually react to any of the stories on the front pages of the newspapers this morning. I have with me the Vanguard newspaper, and on the front page, the major story says federal government, Ogun government battle to recover seized presidential jets. Federal government, Ogun government battle to recover seized presidential jets. And right after the story says Chinese firm Zhangshan secures Paris court order. Chinese firm Zhangshan secures Paris court order. Order attempts by Chinese company Zhangshan to strip Nigeria of assets, says presidency. This is very, 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 very. This is an highlight of story on its own. So Ogun government faults fraudulent legal process by Zhangshan. Ogun government falls fraudulent legal process by Zhangshan. If you're interested in that particular story, you can read it on page 5 of the Vanguard. It's an international embarrassment, says Peter Obi. It's an international embarrassment, says Peter Obi. And above the nameplate, it says inflation rate eases to 33.4% in wake of harvest season. Inflation rate eases to 33.4% in wake of harvest season. Page 19 has a story. NUC recommends Kudirat Kekereekun as CJN. NJC recommends Kudirat Kekereekun as CJN. You can read that on page 9. Monkeypox, Bayelsa leads as NCDC confirms 39 cases in 33 states. FCT. Monkeypox, Bayelsa leads as NCDC confirms 39 cases in 33 states, says FCT. Page 8 has a story. I hope that it is copped and it is brought to a minimum and it doesn't become a pandemic in the country. And so mixed reactions as federal government plans to boost external reserves with $500 million FGN bond. Mixed reactions as federal government plans to boost external reserves with $500 million FGN bond. You can read that on page 20 if you are interested in that one. And Igbo professionals condemn Igbo must go campaign. Igbo professionals condemn Igbo must go campaign. You read that on page 11. I don't know if you know that Twitter and that actually posted it.
Lagospedia.
Yes, that posted it, and people were like, you already know this person that posted it. Why can't you just go and grab this person and just because you can't be inciting things like this.
And I think the site, the handle is down now.
It should be. It definitely should be, because you're inciting things that shouldn't be at the moment. You can read that on page 11. Federal government mediates between discos man over electricity tariff hike. Federal government mediates between discos and man, that's MAN, over electricity tariff hike. You can read that on page 19 as well of the newspaper. And that's all I have on the front page, apart from Mr. and Mrs., which I'll quickly take. And I think it's Mr. saying the man is a member of board of directors. He smiled at you and saved you an envelope filled with money. Are you sure it's not a Greek gift? And Mrs. says, Greek? No, it's American. The envelope contains American dollars. Mrs. just always gets me every time. Well, that's all I have on the front page of the new, apart from the pictures of Tinubu and Nguma signing the pipeline project deal. So that's basically all I have on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper.
From the Vanguard newspaper straight to the Guardian newspaper this morning. Rinse and repeat. Nigeria awaits Los Angeles Olympics after Paris 9 billion naira pour outing. Rinse and repeat. Big stories on page 4 and 5, so you need to go look at that one. So they are focused on more of the Olympics this morning, because hey, it's a huge fund, 9 billion naira. It deserves a huge front page story, and it deserves a huge focus, so we can get to find out why we still have to fail after spending so much money into this competition. Well, underneath those pictures, we have this one: falling food prices moderate inflation spike amid sustainability concerns. Falling food prices moderate inflation spike amid sustainability concerns. You want to find out about that? Page 8 of the Guardian newspaper is where you are going to go look at that story. Bauchi Emirates withdraws senator's chieftaincy over alleged disrespect for governor. Bauchi Emirates withdraws senator's chieftaincy over alleged disrespect for governor. Page 30 of the Guardian is where that story is. Mpox, NCDC places airports, seaports, states on high alert. Mpox, NCDC places airports, seaports, states on high alert. Page 7 is where that story is. NJC recommends Kekereekun as CGN, 28 others as judges. NJC recommends Kekereekun as CJN, 28 others as judges. Page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Underneath that story, court orders for forfeiture of $2 million shares, properties linked to Emefiele. Court orders for forfeiture of $2 million shares, properties linked to Emefiele. Page 3 is where that story is. Underneath that big story, international embarrassment, says Obi as FG moves to recover seized jets. International embarrassment, says Obi as FG moves to recover seized jets. Senate defends running cost for lawmakers. Senate defends running cost for lawmakers. Page 3 is where you will find that story. Address hardship to avert another protest, Udenta tells Tinubu. Address hardship to avert another protest, Udenta tells Tinubu. Page 29 is where that story is. And finally, on the Guardian newspaper, Disco's defend tariff hike, claims Band A customers pay lowest rates in West Africa. Disco's defend tariff hike, claim Band A customers pay lowest rates in West Africa. That story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. That's the Guardian newspaper for this morning.
At 0700-1021-1021 is the number to call, or send us text messages or WhatsApp messages to 0907-224-5018. We're streaming live on YouTube at High Impact 102.1 FM and also on Facebook at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. And yes, I'll move over quickly to the Punch newspaper. The Punch newspaper, the major story on the front page says Ogun FTZ's deal. Chinese firm targets Nigeria assets in 8 countries. It's about a jet. I think they got a jet and probably they did not. They didn't pay.
Well,
on Vanguard, Peter Obi says this is a international embarrassment. International embarrassment. So people say, because I always go through comments, and people say that why is it always talking down or saying things if this present government is actually at fault or doing something that is not good. That's the only time we hear or see Mr. Peter Obi. Why is it not when he's actually when the government's actually doing something and I say, okay, the government is doing something. But yeah, everyone knows that this is actually an embarrassment. And now the front page of the Punch is saying Chinese firm targets Nigeria assets in 8 countries. That is a lot. And Zhongshan eyes assets in UK, US, others. Presidency vows to protect jets. This you can read that on page 2 of the newspaper, and above the nameplate it says harvest season reduces food inflation to 39.5%. Page 19 has a story. The other one I read, Vanguard says 33.4, 33.5, and the Punch is giving us 39.5%. Federal government eyes pension funds in $500 million bond issuance. You can read that on page 21. Monkeypox. Federal government tightens border surveillance as cases hit 39. Federal government tightens border surveillance as cases hit 39. Page 15 has the story. Court orders for feature of Emefiele's $2.4 million Lagos and Delta assets. Court orders for feature of Emefiele's $2.4 million Lagos and Delta assets. You can read that on page 15. How much is that in Naira? Convert it and let me know. Okay, and beneath that you see CJN NJC sends Kekere Ekun's name to Tinubu today. NJN sends Kekere Ekun's name to Tinubu today. Page 27 has the story. Educationist files 11 billion naira suit against Sanwo-Olu over school demolition. Educationist files 11 billion naira suit against Sanwo-Olu over school demolition. The question now is, were you given a notice before the action was taking place? Because if you were given a notice, I don't know how well, I really don't know how it will be solved. But if you were given a notice, or if something was, maybe a something to just cushion the effect of the demolition of the school, then you definitely you're gonna have a great case there. But you can read that on pages 4 and 5 of the newspaper. A secretariat's raid. NLC demands detained members release. NLC demands detained members release. Page 11 has the story to that particular one. And on the front page of you see pictures of the chief of air staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, during the celebration of a flying milestone of over 10,000 flight hours on the A29 Sipa to Kano aircraft fleet by NAF pilots in Kanji, Niger State. And that's all I have on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And quickly, before we dive right into the next segment, let me quickly read this message. It says, good morning, our Impact Radio and presenters in the house. Good morning to you. Chinese country via a company seized presidential jet because of the failure of Ogun State government to meet up with the signed contract. This is a national disgrace, and the government should save the image of this country for our future generations. The government saying that inflation rate has dropped in 2024 is a total propaganda. What are the basic statistical analyses for these reports? Price of commodities have increased drastically and are at hyperinflation levels. Why is this present government full of propaganda, and reality of these are transparent in the current market price of commodities? Fuel prices at high rates. 90% of their achievements and policies are on papers but not true reality, and this has crippled the entire economy. The Tinubu administration should wake up from their slumber and take a proactive action. They should be achievement oriented and not perpetual propaganda. All the hope he promised Nigerians are not being renewed, and the poor are not breathing. Rather, they are dying of hunger and oppression by politicians and the armed forces who are implementing the unlawful policies and instructions of the corrupt leaders. I strongly believe that God will change this country for good. Thank you so much. We also strongly believe that God will definitely change this country for good.
Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Those are some of the messages which we just already read. Still got more messages?
Yes, I do. And this is from Joseph Ayor. Okay. It says, Good morning, High Impact. Good morning to you. In a recent report, Nigeria was mentioned among countries with highest presidential fleets. And now the presidential aircraft is in the news for another unpalatable reason. The Senate has come out as well as usual to do what is known for, not what is known to do best, denying a clearing open secret outlandish pay package. Nigeria will hail thee. That is our new national anthem. This is Joseph Ayo from Lambe, Ogun State. Thank you very much, and we have to actually bring in our in-house analyst, right? Dr. Adedayo Kayode will be joining us really, really soon. So you want to stay tuned for that analysis from our in-house analyst on the newspaper review on your urban lifestyle station, High Impact 102.1 FM. So yeah, we'll be right back.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
High cash flash time.
Now money time, oh.
If you not play,
now you lose, oh.
But if you not come win today,
you fit win tomorrow.
Yes, so this na high cash flash where you fit win a wolf money brekete. Just dial *347 *972 hash. Select your urban station High Impact 102.1 FM. Then go sama you code where you fit use buy ticket for 500 naira pere. And not forget say the more you buy ticket, the more chances you get to hammer better money. To play and more to you fit also visit our website for highcashflash.com. Time now. Money.
Oh yeah, dial *347 *972 hash to enter the high cash flash.
You see this money?
Last, now we go chop am.
High Cash Flash is powered by Lasho Trading Services Limited and licensed by Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Authority. Not suited for anyone under 18. Play responsibly. Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information,
call 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, or 0902 745 3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. This is the newspaper review. In case you are just joining us, well, welcome. We're about to move to the second segment of the show where we get to analyze some of the major stories. And our in-house analyst is ready with us. He is Dr. Dayo Kayode. Good morning to you, sir, Dr. Kayode.
Yes, good morning. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. I do hope your night was great and you're having a good morning so far.
Beautiful.
Okay, thank you. I'll go quick into it as quick as I can. And the major news definitely has to be with, first and foremost, the Chinese firm, seizing, getting a court order from Paris to seize 3 of our jets. And they're still even moving to seize a couple of assets which we have in 8 countries. And this is a result of a deal which was signed from way back as 2007 when when the federal government built a trade fair complex in Ogun State, and moving on to 2010 where they still involved the parent company of this Zhongshan to help them build an industrial park in the free trade zone. Then up until the first half of 2016, the agreement between both parties were then terminated, and it was since then the Zhongshan company had filed a lawsuit against the Nigerian federal state, and so as to get back whatever they have lost in the agreement. What does this say about our dealings with other companies outside of Nigeria? What does this result, the court order which has been granted to this company to make them seize our assets, how does this tell on the image of our country in terms of national pedigree and also in terms of doing business with other entities from different countries?
Yes, you see, there are so many angles to this imbroglio. Number one, are we saying there are no Nigerian companies that can undertake the building or the construction of that industrial park? That's number one. Number two, along the line, so many of us concerned Nigerians have been talking about us being careful with Chinese companies and Chinese government in signing agreements with them. Because more often than not, we have seen examples in other African nations whereby Chinese government and companies have been taking over their assets one way or the other. So we have been warning Nigerian governments, both federal and state, against these people. Now, having said that, are we now saying again that there is no distinction between monies being owed by states and monies being owed by federal government? Those assets that are now being seized through the courts, do they belong to Ogun State or they belong to federal government of Nigeria? So why can't we make distinctions out of them?
Sorry, sir, before you go on.
I don't know whether you are following me.
Yes, I'm following, but before you go further, hold on, sir. Before you go further, the free trade zone at which, they were contracted to build, it's actually a federal government entity, but, but it's also in collaboration with Ogun State.
Okay, if you are even saying that, are you now saying that it's only federal government properties that will now be seized? How about that of Ogun State? Are we saying Ogun State too doesn't have properties that you can seize? In that agreement, what are the things that are embedded in it when it comes to payment and then inability to pay? You remember the case of PIDD? You remember?
Yes, I do.
Hello?
Yes, I do. I do remember.
And you remember the fraud that was involved?
And we won the case eventually.
Cases of fraud being perpetrated by Nigerians. The whole thing came out. Do you understand? So to what extent are we also trying to look at involvement of Nigerians in all of this? So these are issues, but thank God, I read yesterday that the Attorney General of Nigeria is now taking steps on how to resolve this issue.
Yeah, true.
So
true.
Let us see how far Attorney General of Nigeria can come up with their own case towards ensuring that our assets, our national assets, are not being seized. Imagine a whole 3 presidential aircraft, and imagine they now even see some other properties belonging to Nigeria in the UK. I don't know whether you're also aware of that.
Yeah, 6 other countries, also in Belgium and Canada and some other countries.
So all these issues need to be brought together by the Attorney General of Nigeria to see how we can get it resolved. But it's a pity that when you are now trying to resolve it again, it's going to also cost us some other humongous amount of money. Who pays for that? From where is that money going to be taken from? Is it going to affect our resources that have gotten depleted to a level of only God knows?
Well, it's a really sad one, and you also
it's
mentioned
a sad one.
Yeah, you mentioned the case
and
about,
it's an embarrassment to the nation. It's an embarrassment to the nation.
Oh, yeah. You also made the case of the P&I and the issues where the bribery saga took place, but eventually we did win that case, and hopefully with the Attorney General moving for this case, we should be able to also hopefully.
Yes, I hope that they will take what do I call it now? The experience. They will use the experience.
Yes.
The experience that they used to tackle that issue of PID to also tackle this.
Hopefully that does happen. But let's move it back home this time around now, when we are still facing the issues of fuel crisis, and we're hearing on the news this morning that there is in the north, in the FCT and some other parts, other states, we are seeing as much as 1,000 naira per liter. Don't you think?
Yeah, so what?
We are seeing up to 1,000 naira per liter for fuel, for the price of fuel. Don't you think this is the period whereby the NNPCL needs to really move into making sure that our refineries are up and running? Because for 1,000 naira per liter for fuel, that is humongous.
You see, I will not deceive you. Don't let us be deceiving ourselves. When it comes to this issue of prices of petroleum products, there's a kind of an organized leadership fraud in it. Organized leadership fraud in it. How do I mean? Let me just give you one example because of our time. Just one example.
Okay, quickly, sir.
Before now, pump price of PMS was 190 naira per liter.
True.
And it was fully established. You can Google it. And was also corroborated at the inception of this 10th assembly that at that price, NNPC was making a profit of 100 naira per liter. Tell me, why is that subsidy now? You talk of subsidy whereby NNPC is not making profit but losses, and those losses will now be taken care by the subsidy from government. So tell me, why is that subsidy? It is nothing other than using poverty as a means of getting people's support for government, because they know when you don't have enough money in your pocket, when your value of money have been depleted, then you will not have that effrontery, you will not have the guts, you will not have the strength to question the leadership. And when I'm talking about leadership now, not only political leadership, including traditional, religious, and economic, because all of them have come together to connive against the people that they are supposed to serve. Nothing more. Nothing more. So when anybody is talking about the pump price of this and that, I just look at it. It's nothing other than organized leadership connivance against the people. Nothing more.
So are you saying there is no hope for us?
Refinery. Look at what is happening to Dangote refinery. So people are started talking about the Dangote petroleum will not be selling less than 600 naira per liter. But thank God, the spokesperson of Dangote refinery came out, I think day before yesterday.
Yeah, he came out and said it was speculation.
They have not sent anybody that message. They have not. So not until when the people decide upon themselves to free themselves from the shackles of these Machiavellians, then we keep on worshiping them.
But how
and
do
for
we?
us not to worship them, we have to stand together, forgetting about all our differences in terms of religion, tribal, or whatever. Because all of us are suffering it.
True. Let's move finally to one of the news that made headlines, which I really believe we should talk about, because now we're hearing of the fact that the monkeypox crisis is back in the country, and we've seen of 39 cases in the 33 states, and although no death cases has been recorded yet. What, in your own opinion, as quick as you can before we go, how, in your own opinion, do you think the NCDC should tackle this this
tobacco.
The NCDC.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now, sir?
The what?
The NCDC, the National Center for Disease Control. What measures do you think they should take to help prevent this from becoming a crisis?
Well, we have been able to curb those that are even worse than this. Like where the thing came from, I read that there were about some thousands of people affected, but the fatality is less than 2%.
Yeah.
But that notwithstanding, our own department here should be on their toes to ensure that it doesn't spread. Yes, there is a particular state that they said it's seen about 10 or 20 people affected or so. Yes. Let us see how they curtail it. So that it doesn't spread. Because no matter how little the fatality is, I mean, we don't want to lose anybody.
True.
Nobody wants to lose his or her loved ones.
True.
So let's see how far they can quickly curb this so that it doesn't become another pandemic within our nation.
Okay. On your final notes, sir, before you go this Friday morning.
Well, the thing is, Nigerians at this time should know that we are all suffering. And this suffering is not supposed to be. We are just like a big tree planted by the riverside, but couldn't get water to drink. I mean, couldn't get water to survive. Can you see the paradox there?
Yeah.
So we need to show all our primordial thinking, and come together as one to fight the connivance of the leadership against the people. It's a pity that we don't know our potentials. We don't know our potentials. And what was their percentage when we're talking about the population? What's their percentage? The percentage of those people that are putting on in this mess. They are not up to 0.05%. So what are we saying? We should be able to tackle them. We should take example from other nations that have done this in the past. So what's stopping us from doing the same? Let us change our orientation from politics of survival to politics of ideology.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a very fine way to leave it this morning. Thank you for joining us this Friday morning, and we look forward to getting your insight another day when we invite you to come talk to us again.
Yes, it's my pleasure being with you this morning. Thanks for having me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I wish you a happy weekend ahead.
I wish you the same, sir. Have a beautiful day ahead of you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, we've been speaking to Dr. Dayo Kayode, who happens to be a socio-political analyst who gets to help us every Friday talk about the happenings in Nigeria. And of course, we still have other messages. We have messages from you. And in case you still want to call in and send in your messages, you have less than a minute to do that. The number for you to do that at is 0700 1021 1021 for your calls and 0907 224 5018 for your WhatsApp or your regular text messages. A message here. Okay.
Yes, we have messages here. This one says, "Good morning, High Impact crew. Good morning to you. Everybody is aware that Nigeria have no government but gatherings of propaganda experts. God will soon intervene." This is from MC. Says his name is MC. Okay. Good morning, High Impact FM. Good morning. As long as the local refineries are not working and we continue to import refined petroleum products, the economy will continue to bleed. Nigerians must prevail on the federal government to make the 4 refineries to work. If refineries are not working in other countries like they are not working in Nigeria, where will Nigeria import refined petroleum products from? It is a shame for refineries not to be working in Nigeria. This is Victor Anya from Ogba. Okay, so I understand what he says. He said you're sending your products to other countries. What if those countries are like Nigeria that they don't have working refineries, how will you now survive? That's it. I understand what it's saying, and it's very true, because you cannot be the money you are using to import and export these things out of the country and inside the country would have, I don't know, you would have built us working refineries.
Well,
even though it's one that we know that one refinery is working, that we know that this is something that, then that's because not even one, it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to an oil producing country. It's really bad. So hopefully, like I said, August is still here. August is still here. I'm looking forward to
that. Everyone
is, because we don't want another situation of we are postponing. Something happens, they don't give us the
one has already been postponed already.
So we don't want that. So hopefully it's sorted out really fast.
Well, hopefully it gets sorted out real fast, and it's a given. It's certain that if our 4 refineries are working, we will definitely come out of this debacle. At least we think we will definitely come out of this debacle of oil crisis, where we can have it to our convenience as we want it, because the president has already said crude oil should be sold in naira, which is a very beautiful development, because once you're buying crude in naira, you're refining in naira, there's no dollar constraints and no FX crisis. It will also help the FX go down, because there'll be no much influx of people looking for FX to exchange, because now they're not looking to import fuel into the country. So it's a beautiful development, and it already shows there's a pattern already which shows that probably there's a bright future coming soon. And the moment the refineries are working, it only confirms that the bright future is here, and we all are looking forward to that bright future. As I am looking forward to having an amazing weekend, and I also know you all listening to me at this point, well, you're looking forward to having an amazing weekend, and I wish you all an amazing weekend. That's how we call it a close to today's edition of the newspaper review right here on our Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Remember, we are here Mondays to Fridays, 5 minutes past 7 up until 8 a.m. on the 102.1 FM dial. So that is where you can get us every single time. Tomorrow, we'll be doing a recap of all the stories that made headlines from Monday up until Friday. So, hey, you need to catch up with us tomorrow so you can get a recap of everything that happened this week. Till I come your way again on Monday with another exciting edition of the newspaper review, my name is Uche Okorie. Have a beautiful Friday.
And my name is Oluwatomi Owoborode. You want to stay tuned, because the Morning Impact Show continues.
Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m.